Welcome to Angry Appliance Repair Person Buyer's Edition. As you can see, what is that, smartest man in... Oh, sorry. Yes, I'm a salesman. I have to look a little proper. I'm sorry. My apologies. Let's try again. Welcome to Angry Appliance Repair Person. For the record, this is the buyer's edition. As you can see, I am dressed in a tie. I am trying to look cool and pretty because I am trying to be a salesman, because we are going to talk about buying appliances. This presentation is about the freezer. So, freezers, as most of the stuff, is very basic. You have an upright freezer and you have a chest freezer. The couple points that I want to make: very few companies make freezers. You might see the Abracadabra brand, our imaginary brand. But Abracadabra may have not made those freezers. They may just stick their little top hat symbol out there, on there, to attract your attention. But it's not actually made by them. Not too many companies make freezers. Most manufacturers buy the freezer from someone, put on their design, and sell it to you. So even though you can see 6 or 7 different brands online of freezers, it's probably only made by 1 or 2 companies. Keep that in mind. So, the upright freezer and the chest freezer. One of the popular questions, being a serviceman, now pretending to be a salesman, was, which one should I buy? Well, that's a good question. The chest freezer is actually very good because cold air falls, warm air rises. So the cold air settles down in the bottom of the chest freezer. So the chest freezer doesn't nearly have to be defrosted as much as an upright does. So the chest freezer, when you open the door, cold air at the bottom, and then of course the evaporator coil is the whole walls of the inside of the unit. Over time, those get frosted that you have to defrost it. Whatever you do, and I don't think they make one anymore, but if they do, don't buy it. They used to make a chest freezer that was self-defrosting. Don't do that. They were not very good. I am really hoping they don't make those anymore. But if they do, my advice is stay away. You buy a chest freezer that, yes, I'm sorry, you will have to defrost. But I own a chest freezer, and I basically defrost mine about every 2 to 3 years. I wait until the frost gets very, I'd say half an inch or about a half an inch, no more, of frost built up around it that I have to do it. And to be honest, I take the food out, I put it on the floor, I use a plastic spatula with a hair dryer. I'm done in 15 minutes. It's really not hard to do. So, with that being said, the chest freezer is wonderful because A, you only have to defrost it every 2 or 3 years. B, the unit itself is very simple. You have a thermostat and you have a compressor. That's about it. There's almost no working parts. Now again, you can buy the luxury of having a little light in the corner or even having an alarm that tells you when it's not working. If you want that luxury, be my guest. I just go into my freezer once a day to make sure it's working. That's what I do. But you can buy them. But remember, if you buy one with the little light, or you buy one that has an alarm, there are more things to go wrong if you choose to do that, which of course can allow the companies to charge you more money for it. But the basic chest freezer design is the same. It really doesn't matter, and considering there are only 2 companies or so that make a freezer, they really are just, you're only buying it for size, and you're buying it for possible luxuries. But the chest freezers normally go pretty long without needing service. Most people complain about, with me and my belly, that I'd have a problem opening the lid and bending down in there. That's true. That's true. Where the upright is much better for that. So you have to decide for yourself. But you don't have to defrost it as often. And I would stay away from the frost-free chest freezers if they are out there still. Okay, the upright freezer. It's completely the opposite way around. The upright freezer, I would recommend you buy the self-defrosting upright freezer, because every time you open that door, the warm air rises up to the top of the freezer and hits the evaporator coil. The evaporator coil is going to frost up very quickly. And if you do go into it often, you're going to get a lot of frost buildup at the top, which will force you to turn the unit off and defrost it. You could end up defrosting that every 4 to 6 months. I advise getting a self-defrosting upright freezer. They don't cost much more, but they have a fan and they have their own self-defrost system. Yes, there are more parts. Yes, it may fail a little bit more than just the basic one, but very few people that I have run into, and if you're the exception, I apologize, but very few people think of defrosting their freezer that often. And I can't tell you how many service calls I did to go out there and just tell them that they have to defrost it. That's the reason it won't stay cold enough, because it's too full of frost. I would advise getting a self-defrosting upright. The upright freezers, again, are only made by 1 or 2 companies. So there really isn't that much different between brand, whether it's our imaginary Abracadabra or it is some other brand. It's probably built by the same people. So I would get a self-defrost. Again, size, how tall you want it, how wide you want it, of course, matters. That's what affects the price. Again, you can get some that are electronic. The only advantages to the electronic ones, of course, are the alarms. You can have a display on the front with an alarm that if it gets too warm, it'll start beeping at you. That will give you that luxury, but keep in mind, luxuries like to fail in these new appliances quite often. So if that luxury fails, that control board goes bad, you're going to be seeing a service man. So it's up to you. You pay for that luxury, but that luxury could fail. So upright freezers, I would get a self-defrost. Chest freezers, I would stick to the manual, which I think is all you can buy these days. But if I'm wrong, things change all the time. I'm not a fan of the one company or two, I think, that built a self-defrosting chest freezer. That didn't go very well. So freezers are freezers. Buying them is very simple. Just get the size you want, look for the best price, and keep in mind of what we've been discussing about the frost buildup. So, as always, we thank you for spending some of your day with us.